morning. Good morning. June 2014. This was last year's, unless of course you're watching it next year, but if you're watching it in 2015, this was last year's June Regents exam. I don't think it was a very difficult one. Our kids did very well on it last year. I hope New York State is kind of nice to us this year. But you still have to know what you're talking about. You still have to be able to do the right work. And you still have to work hard. So, if you're here to cheat, go someplace else, please. I don't want to be complicit in your cheating and your laziness. If, however, you have already attempted these problems and you're here just to get my expertise help and to look at this amazingly ugly mug for the next 20 minutes or so, you're in the right place. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button below. Could use a few more subscribers. And it will help me get some other things. Also, not like things, just some things I can do on YouTube that look pretty cool. And also, if you get 100 on your Regents exam, and I helped you out just a little bit, maybe you give me a teeny tiny bit of credit for just helping you out, maybe send me an email. I'll put your name up on my MrKrausemath.com website. Haven't made that page yet, because I haven't had anybody get 100. But when I do, oh, it will be up. Just let me know who you are, what school you go to, what your name is. All right, kids, good luck. We're working hard. This is June 2014. Let's get right on to it. Let's go. Question 1. If I can read it. Oh, I love when they ask questions like this. Bias. Bias, you should just know. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't make sense. Something's not right. It doesn't seem fair. So what we're going to look at is a little bit of bias here. So, surveying a sample of people leaving a movie theater to determine which flavor of ice cream is most popular. Seems like it might be a random sample. Maybe. We'll come back to it. Let's see the other ones. Surveying the members of a football team to determine the most watched TV sport. Yeah, that looks like it's a lot of bias. Because they're going to say football. So that doesn't make sense. Surveying a sample of people leaving a library to determine the average number of books a person reads a year. People reading going to the library, they read books, so they would say lots of books. Whereas other people who don't go to the library would say not a lot of books. Kind of a lot of bias there. Surveying a sample of people leaving a gym to determine the average number of hours person exercise per week. Gym people, they work out. So clearly the answer is choice 1. Least bias, there it is. It might have a little bias because maybe all the people went to see a sappy, crazy, girly movie, or they went to go see a, action movie, and maybe, I don't know. But that's kind of random. The one thing I want you to remember about negative exponents is they have nothing to do with being negative. Guaranteed those aren't the right answers. They're there to throw you off. Now, they might be, but I doubt it. They have nothing to do with being negative. Negative exponents take whatever you have, like for example, if I had x to the negative 3, it would turn it into 1 over x to the positive 3. It really just means take the reciprocal. So we don't have that. We have a little bit something different, so we'll get rid of that. What we have here is 2. Now notice it's in parentheses. Stop getting rid of parentheses. Everybody tries to get rid of them. I don't know why. 2a to the negative 4, and we're going to turn that into 1 over, the whole thing comes down, stays in its parentheses, 2a to the positive 4. We're almost done now. Now we're just going to go, it's 1 over 2 to the 4th times a to the 4th. Well, 2 to the 4th is 16. So there's your answer, 16a to the 4th, 1 over. Ka-chang! Coffee break. 2 sides of a triangular sandbox measure 22 feet and 13 feet. If the angle between these sides is 55, what is the area of the sandbox to the nearest foot?
Mr. Krause, that sounds like a problem that might be on the formula sheet. Not really sure because I remember there being something about a formula sheet with the area of a triangle.
Yeah, nice job labeling that thing. But anyway, there's our 22, our 13, and a 55-degree angle in between them. And we go over to the formula sheet. And lo and behold, right here at the beginning, is a formula for area of a triangle given two sides and the angle included. It has to be two sides and the angle in between those two sides. It has to be given that. Otherwise, it doesn't really conform to this formula. But in this case, it's pretty simple and straightforward. So we're just going to do that k equals 1/2 AB sine C. By the way, if this was a parallelogram, if you're ever given a parallelogram with a similar kind of problem, you just get rid of the half because a parallelogram is just two triangles. So the formula works for parallelograms. You just have to remember you got to get rid of the half. Okay. 1/2 22 times 13 times the sine of 55 degrees. Now, I don't know about you guys around New York State, but when you go to your calculator, you better make sure you're in degree mode, because if you're not going to get the right answer. So we got to do 1/2, which is just 0.5, times 22 times 13 times the sine, I believe it was 55. Enter. 117.138. 117.138. 117.138. Ka-ching! I'm 3 for 3. Haven't made a mistake yet. Simplest form. In order to be able to add fractions. Now, guys, I want you to understand something. Here's how you might want to do that problem. I don't know if it works. This may not work. I'll come back to it. Let's do it the right way. I don't want you cheating anyway. Minus 18 minus the square root of 32. So, let's see. What you really want to do is rewrite these as a perfect square. Negative 9 times 2 minus the square root of negative 16 times 2. Now, if you have gone through the entire trig course and don't realize that you can take the square root of a negative number, it gives you a non-real calculation, but you can take the square root of a negative number. For example, the square root of negative 9 is 3i, and I end up with 3i squared, so 2. Square root of negative 16 is 4i, and I end up with 4i squared, so 2. Well, 3i's minus 4i's is negative 1 square root of 2. Choice 1. Right? Choice 1. There we go. Negative 1 squared root of 2. Boom, done. That's it. Weird. I wonder what happened to the I. We might want to put a little I here, kids. This is why kids don't get hundreds on New York State Algebra 2 Regents. They don't pay attention to details. It's negative 1i square root of 2. The i's don't cancel, so be careful. Just be careful. It's negative 1i square root of 2. All right, moving on up to the next question. Got to change this view to 100%. Kind of annoying. Nope, not 100%. Page width. So when comparing, Teresa's comparing the graphs of 2 to the x and 5 to the x, which is true. Now let me just give you a heads up before I even look at the choices. I want you to remember these are exponential functions. Exponential functions all kind of have this similar style where they all go through the point 0, 1, unless you have added something to the end of it, which we have not. So they will always go through that. Now, whether or not it's an exponential function, that's a whole number, not a whole number, a whole number like 2 or 5 or something like that. If it's a fraction like 1/2, something less than 1, between 0 and 1, it will come down like this, but guess what? It still goes through that point 0, 1. Now, the fact that this is a 5 means it's going up much steeper. Now, let's see what the answers say. The y-intercept of this is 0, 2. No. We know the y-intercept is 0, 1. Right there. Always. Both graphs have a y-intercept of 0, 1. Yes. 2 to the x is steeper. Well, think about it. 2 to the first is 2. 2 squared is 4. 2 cubed is 8. So after cubed, I'm at 8. This one has 2 to the first is 5, already higher. 2 squared is 25, already much higher. And 2 cubed is 125. 125 is much steeper. So, there it is right there, choice 3. All right, so whenever you're going to solve a radical question, what you have to do is you get the weird thing alone. Want to get the weird thing alone. Well, in this case, I already got the weird thing alone, so I don't need to worry about that. But what I want to do then is square both sides. Do you notice I'm putting parentheses around these things so I don't make dumb mistakes? All right, make sure you do that. We want to square both sides. On this side, I get 2x minus 4. Now, this side, I actually squared means I got to write it twice. X minus 2. And double distribute that, which would give me x squared minus 4x plus 4. Right, because this gives me minus 2x and minus 2x. So now I just got to clean it up. I'll bring these over. I get 0 equals x squared minus 6x plus 8. Factor it. I get x minus 2, x minus 4, and I get x equals 2 and x equals 4 as my answers. Now, you always have to check your answers when you're dealing with radicals to see if they actually both work. The fact of the matter is, I'm not even certain I would have done this problem this way. I probably wouldn't even attempted this problem. I would have been like, all right, guys, let's go. How hard is this? Grab a calculator. I'm going to try to put this above my head over here. I'm going to grab my calculator, and I'm going to go, all right, let's try, well, since I already know the answers are 2 and 4, I'll try 2. So let's try, well, this one's got 4. So if I try 4, right, I can eliminate, if 4 works, I can eliminate 2 choices. I can eliminate 1 and 4. So I'm going to try 4. So 4, control var, x, store that into x, and let's go the square root of 2x minus 4 is 2. Now, on the right side, you can just do 4 minus 2 is 2, or you can just do x minus 2 and go, oh yeah, that's 2 too. So 4 works. That means I eliminate this choice and eliminate this choice because I know 4 works. And then I just got to check to see if 2 works. So I'll do 2, control var x, hit enter, and then hit the up arrow. And hopefully this is 0. And then, of course, 2 minus 2 is 0. So there's my answers. All right. Most dumb kids that aren't real dumb but kind of dumb would pick this answer right here immediately. These answers will not make sense. They're for kids that forget that you have to double distribute, which means you have to write this thing twice. 2 minus 3 square roots of x times 2 minus 3 square roots of x. You can't just square the two things that are in there. It doesn't work that way. It's lazy and it's wrong. So, you know, why do it? Why even bother to do it if you're going to be lazy and not even come close to getting the right answer? So yes, this is 4. Now this is negative square root of 3 times negative square root of 3 is positive 9. And the square root of x, or negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. The square root of x times the square root of x is just x. So I already know that this is the right answer. But let me show you why it's not. Well, geez. Well, I don't even know why you picked choice 1. But anyway, the outsides here give me minus 6 square roots of x. And the insides give me minus 6 square roots of x. And that's why those make up minus 12. All right, moving on. Which step can be used in solving this by completing the square? Okay, so the first step in completing the square is to rewrite it with a square here and to move the 25 over and write it with a square over here. That's why I like to call it completing the square. By the way, it has nothing to do with being able, that's why it's called completing the square, because I put squares here. That's just what I do, because I call it completing the square. Here's why it's called completing the square, because you're going to create a perfect square trinomial. Well, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means, Krause. You're like saying like weird stuff, man. All right, it's very simple. You're just going to divide this by 2, and you get negative 3, and that's what goes here, minus 3. And what do I put here? I put whatever that is squared. It's always positive. So I'm going to add 9 there and add 9 there. And I get equals 34. Now, I'm not sure where they're going with this problem. Let's see. Oh, they didn't even get to the parentheses. They didn't even get to the easy. This step. This is where they should get to. Oh, man, it's because it makes it easy. So it looks like that's what they're looking for right there. Minus 6x plus 9. 20, there it is, choice 1. Choice 1, and we are right. We're almost done with this one, man. This test is flying. Where'd I go? Oh, view, page width. Knocking in the door. Which graph represents a function? Well, a function doesn't have any repeating x values. And not one x value gives you two separate y values. As far as a graph goes, you're looking for things that pass the vertical line test. Well, believe it or not, this passes the vertical line test because that's an open circle, which means it doesn't hit there. These pass. Oh, let's see. Let's make sure they're all this one, this one, this one. There it is. There's your function. I thought we were looking for the one that's not a function. All right, so this is not a function, fails it here. These aren't functions because it fails it for the entire line there. I mean, that whole line is like, right here it's 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, right? I mean, just right there. This one looks pretty good until you get to this point right here, and it fails it there. So choice 1, pass the vertical line test. Yay! Man, I wish I had this test. Oh, wait a second now. So what we want to do is we want to convert this to things that we know. So we have cotangent x over cosecant x. Now, if you don't know what those are equal to, I got a cheat for you, but we're going to come to it in a second. Watch this. So, to show work, this is cosine x over sine x. And this is 1 over sine x. All right. So, in order to divide by a fraction, because right now we're dividing by this fraction, we flip and multiply by it. Sine x over 1. You flip and multiply. Sines cancel, and my answer is cosine x. Now, having said that, I did tell you I had a cheat. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a number, kind of a normal number, like 30. Let's take 30 and stow this into x. So now I've got 30. So what I want to do is control division, cotangent of x over cosecant of x, and hit enter, and I get some 0.8666666. And then I go over here and I say, okay, try it. Let's see if I'm right. Cosine of x. Wow. Didn't even have to know math. Just have to be able to type them in the calculator and use it my advantage. Good. Common difference. That means we're looking for a subtraction. So what you want to always do is take the one after and subtract the one before. So in this case, we're going to take negative 4x and we're going to subtract negative 7x. Well, that's 3x. Then we're going to try it again. We're going to, maybe we deal with the positives. Maybe this is even easier. So I'm going to take 5x and I'm going to subtract off 2x because they're just positive. That would give me 3x. So my common difference is 3x. Whew. This was an easy Regents. All right, let's check. Sine is less than 0. So do you remember that all students take calculus? That's what we teach. All things are positive here. Sine, and of course then cosecant are positive here. Tangent, and then of course cotangent are positive here. And cosine, and of course secant are positive here. So this says, when is sine negative? When does sine equal a negative value? Well, sine equals a negative value down here. This says, where is cotangent positive? Cotangent is positive in the first quadrant, because everything is, and in the third quadrant. 2 check marks signifies your winner. I'm going to check my answers and make sure I didn't do anything stupid. Good. We got 2 left. Y equals 1/2 sine x. The period. Well, if you remember correctly, the period is defined as 2 pi over b. Now, also you have to remember that, let's say we have y equals 1/2 sine 6x. This is not only your frequency, but it's also the b value. So, period is equal to 2 pi over 6, which reduces to pi over 3. Ka-ching. Wow, this is a joke. What is the product of the roots of the... I hope you guys get a test like this. I really do. You know, it's kind of potluck sometimes how easy the problems are. So minus 5 equals 0. Product of the roots is equal to C over A. Just for fun, though, the sum of the roots is negative B over A. So we'll do both. I'll bet both answers are there anyway. So C over A is negative 5 over 2. There's our answer. The negative B over A would be positive 7 over 2. I didn't even add that as an answer. Done. That's it. Woo! 1 through 14 are finished. I hope you guys enjoyed. I got more videos coming. Hopefully you're enjoying these. Yeah. Guys, there's not much time left before that summer vacation. But also June 19th, if this is 2015, which is when I'm recording this, is coming right around the corner. Study, work hard, be successful. Make something of yourself. All right, kiddies. Goodbye. Good luck.